Hi everyone, it's Alan Johnson from BigAlsPhotography.com. Today we're going to do a tutorial on time-lapse photography and how you can do it on your own. So what is time-lapse photography? Time-lapse photography is when you take multiple images, up to 300 or more depending on how long you want it to last, and combining them all to make a video of objects moving, as in clouds moving across the sky, cars driving by at a fast rate of speed. You see a lot of it in movies, sort of like when they're switching from a night scene to a day scene. You might see them show a cityscape and it goes from sun to night, or maybe a face of a clock spinning as you see time progressing. So it's like an in-between two scenes or something along that lines. You can use them for all different kinds of things. You can use them standalone just for fun if you're on vacation. You could hook a GoPro up to your dashboard and take a long drive, combine it all and see it at your drive at a high rate of speed as you're going there. So today we're going to be doing the time-lapse on my D800 with my 24-70, and I'll be showing you all the settings I'll be using for that. There's a bunch of different ways you can do time-lapse. You go on YouTube or internet and look it up, and there's a bunch of different ways. This is the way I do it. It's pretty simple. And I'll also do another video using my D5200, because that does work a little differently. Since this is a full frame and that's a crop sensor DX camera, I don't have a piece for it that will make it as easy as it will be on this one. So we'll get to that later. For now, let's go over the items you'll need to do a time-lapse. So the first thing you're going to need to make a time-lapse is obviously your camera. Without that, of course, you're not making anything. Then you're going to need a sturdy tripod, because you don't want the wind, or maybe even you, hitting it by mistake or blowing from the wind and shifting your shot or making it blurry, like one frame blurry. Because if you're aimed on a scene like I am right now, if it moves, then it's going to ruin your shot. You're also going to want to make sure you bring along extra batteries, because the batteries will drain because you're letting the camera take shot after shot after shot. So if you plan on doing more than one long time-lapse, you might want to bring 2 or 3 batteries. And due to time-lapse taking a while, it can take up to 15 minutes to an hour, depending on how long you want your time-lapse to go. A chair would be a good idea, maybe another camera so you can take some pictures while you're sitting there waiting. Always remember to bring some water and maybe some food if you're out in the middle of nowhere. That way you got something to keep you going. And bug spray, sunscreen, and a decent hat to keep the sun off of you, because you will be sitting out in the sun more than likely for a while, or at least out in the woods. So give you some protection and keep the insects away from you. And honestly, that's really about all you would need to start the time lapse. So now let's go and we'll get to the camera and we'll show you the settings on how to set it up for a time lapse. Okay, so now we have our camera set up. I already got my shot lined up, and now my settings I have at the moment are ISO 100, and I'm shooting f8 at 80th of a second. And let's take a test shot and make sure our framing is good. And yep, framing looks good. Check the histogram. Yeah, it looks pretty decent. All right, so now that that's done, if you haven't done it already, your viewfinder in the back will let light leak through, and especially for long exposures, I shut it. But I'm also shut it for this too, because I do not need to see through the viewfinder, because it's going to be just taking shots on its own. And so now that that's all set up, we'll set the timer up, and I'll show you how to do that. And once we get that started, our time lapse should start. To figure out how long your time lapse is going to be, you can use an app. I use an app called Kessler, and I'll link to it. Let's see, I'll show you the app too, how that works. Hopefully we can get it on video, and that way we can figure out how long our shots are going to be. Okay, so this is the intervalometer I have. Like I said, it's a cheap brand one, but to use it, I'm going to go to, you see the delay, long, interval, then there's an N, and then it's like a music symbol. Well, the music symbol I turned off so you don't hear the beeping as it's counting down. Delay and long I don't need, so we're going to do interval. So we're going to do 10-second intervals. So we'll key that in. And then we're going to go over to the N, and we're going to set that, since we want to do, let's see, it was about 180 images for the 7-second one, which will take about half hour. So to do that, we're going to turn this one all the way up to 180. Yeah, I'm sure there's a faster way to get it there, but now that we're almost there, don't forget to make sure that when you're lining your shot up and all, that you get your focus and then switch either your camera or your lens to manual focus, so it doesn't try to refocus while we're shooting. So now that I got it at that, I hit set and it's ready to go, and then we hit start. You can hear the first shot go off, and now you can see it counting down. We have 179 shots to go. And here's comes the next one. And it'll go like that from so on to so on. Alright, so now we have at least a half hour to wait before this finishes. While it's shooting, you probably see it pop up on the back of the screen of the shot that it's taking. So in theory, if it starts to get too dark for some reason or too bright, you could change your settings on the camera as you go along. Just do a little bit of time. That if you do a significant change real quick, it's going to look like real quick a change on there. So it'll go from dark to bright or bright to dark. So just do a little bit of time to sort of like phase it in. Right now it looks like all mine are still pretty good, and still have 170 shots to go. So I got another half hour to wait. I'll put a link in the description below of all the stuff that I was using today. And once this is done, I'll take it home and I'll sit there and put it on the computer, and we'll see if we can go through the process of setting it up, the post-processing and stuff, and then get it online. Put the time-lapse video in the video so you can see what it came out looking like. Any questions or comments, you can drop them down below in the description or in the comment sections. I think that's all I have for now, so I'll see you back at when I'm at home processing them. Okay, now we're back at my place. I'm going to show you how to edit your files real quick in Lightroom and how to turn them into the time-lapse video. So I already did some of this because it's just the importing will take a while, the actual conversion can take a while. So I skipped some of the steps just to speed up the process. Alright, so I already took the liberty of importing all of our files we shot with the D800 here. And we'll go to development, and we'll have the first picture highlighted. And what I like to do is come over here, and I'll go and do profile corrections. That's usually about it. And sometimes I'll do the camera landscape just to give me a base to start out with. Then I've been using the new dehaze tool. Make the sky a little darker, don't want to get too carried away with it. And of course all this is up to your own personal preference, what you like. So if you want things overexposed, underexposed, whatever, it's all up to you. Like I said again, it's all up to you how you want your photos to look. So after that, I'll hit Command A highlight all the pictures along the bottom. As you can see, they already have the editing mark on them, but we'll also sync and make sure they're all checked, synchronize, and now you can start seeing them change on the bottom here. So now with all your settings for this have been put through all your photos, so at that point you can come up and export them into another file. It will take a little while depending on the speed of your computer, but I already have done that. So these are my final JPEGs here. So after that, I'll go into that folder and we'll go to slideshow. Alright, in here I have these templates here, and you can see the different speeds for the time lapse: 30 frames, 29.97, 25, 24, and 23.97. I downloaded these from another time-lapse video I watched. I'll link that below. Then you can go and get the presets there yourself. And so all you're going to want to do is decide which one you want to use. So if you did 29, your speed, your time-lapse would only be 6 seconds long. So it's going to depend how fast you want it to move. So I did 23.97, which is about 24. I mean, you can actually just do 24. And it'll drag the time-lapse out to about 7 seconds. So after that, you just hit export video. Name it whatever you want. Put it wherever you want, and then you get a choice here: 720p, 1080, and smaller, depending on what you want to use it for. For YouTube, I use it for 1080 just because I want to, but you can do 722 if you want. And then you just hit export, and then it'll create the file. And unfortunately, it does take quite a while doing it this way, so I actually skipped and already did it. So I already have the file, and I'll be playing it at the end of the video. But that's it. Like I said, I'll link to the video I got the templates off of in the description below, so that way you can go and download them, install them. They actually show you how to install them on there too, which is nice. And then you can get started on your time lapse. All right, here's the video of time lapse we made.